Asia is also known as the land of extreme, the continent having great variation in its climatic conditions, from the hot, dry desert climate to cold climate, evergreen forest, cold desert, and wettest climate. There is a huge variation in its physical features also, as the highest mountain peaks and the deepest depression are present in this continent. And this video is about the climate, vegetation and wildlife of Asia. So let's start our today's video.
Asia is the largest of all the seven continents of the world, and Asia has vast latitudinal and longitudinal extent. This vast extent of the Asia continent is the major reason that there is a variation in its climatic conditions. So if we talk about the latitude and the longitude of Asia, see here in this globe, if we divide this globe into four divisions, this horizontal imaginary line is known as the equator, and this vertical imaginary line is known as the prime meridian. The continent of Asia is located in the northeastern hemisphere of the globe, and from the 10 degrees south of the equator, this is the southernmost tip of Asia, and in the north to the 80-degree northern latitude, this is the northernmost tip of the Asia continent. And if we talk about its longitude, it starts from the 26th degree east of the prime meridian to 170 degree west of the prime meridian. And this vast latitudinal extent is the major reason that there is a variation in its climatic conditions. So here in this map you can see this is the southernmost tip of Asia. The Indonesia country is the southernmost country of the continent of Asia. And if we talk about its northern tip, the continent of Asia is extended to the 80-degree north of the latitude. And the longitudinal extent of Asia, it starts from the 26 degree east of the prime meridian to the 170 degree west of the prime meridian. This is the 170 degree west, and here this is the last extension of Asia continent. Asia is known as the land of extreme, so it has the variation in its climatic conditions. The highest hottest temperature of around 50 degrees Celsius has recorded in the city of Ahvaz, which is in the country of Iran, is the highest hottest temperature. And also there is another city, the Jacobabad in Pakistan is the also hottest city of Asia with the highest temperature recorded around 50 degrees Celsius. Asia also has the coldest place. The Verkhoyansk in Russia with minus 70 degree is the coldest place of Asia. So here you can see its location. The Asia continent also has the wettest place in the world. The Monsoon in Meghalaya of India is the wettest place of Asia. So it receives the highest annual rainfall and it is the wettest place of Asia. Asia also has the driest place, which is Aden in Yemen is the driest place of Asia, which do not receive highest rainfall. This is the city which is the very driest place of Asia. The continent of Asia can be divided into these subcategories of its climatic conditions: the tundra climate, taiga climate, steppe, Mediterranean climate, temperate monsoon climate, desert climate, mountainous climate, tropical monsoon climate, and the equatorial climate. Let's learn one by one all of them. The very first climatic condition that we have is the tundra climate. The tundra climate region occurs between 60° north and 75° north of the latitude. Here you can see its location is on the northern part of the continent of Asia. This climatic conditions is very harshest and the coldest climate of Asia. This is the treeless with no vegetation or the low vegetation, And also there are some animals that adapted themselves to this harshest climate can also survive here. So the cold Arctic winds blow from the northern part of the continent to the central region. They blow down unchecked, giving the central portion of the continent severe winters, while the central and the eastern portion of the continent has mountain ranges that acts as a barrier to these chilly winds. Here you can see from this Arctic Ocean, here this is our Arctic Ocean, and there is the wind that blows from the Arctic Ocean to the central part of the continent of Asia. But there is a mountainous ranges that acts as a barrier to these chilly winds. And the chilly winds and the cold winds spans over the northern part of the continent, and here we have the tundra biome. The tundra biome is the harshest and the coldest biome of the world, with treeless region, low rainfall and severe winters. The growing season is only in the summer season, up to 50 to 60 days only. Very short shrubs and vegetation in the summer season can only grow here. So the Siberian plain in the northern part of the Asia experiences a tundra type of climate. The polar dogs are found over the Siberian plain as they adapted themselves to the extreme cold conditions. And some other animals found here is the walrus, the penguin, and the polar dogs are also the animals in these climatic conditions that they adapted themselves to these extreme cold conditions. Now we have the another climatic conditions, that is the taiga climate, and this conditions is in the southern part of the tundra climate. Here you can see its location is in the southern part of the tundra climate. This is our taiga climate. The taiga forest or the taiga vegetation exists over the northern part of the continent. It also known as the boreal forest and also known as the land of the little sticks in Russia. The taiga climate has the cold winters that mostly last up to 6 months, and average temperature during the winter season is below freezing point. And this region experiences the short summers that mostly last up to 50 to 100 days, right? So here you can see its location. So the annual precipitation is from moderate to high, mostly in the form of rain and snow in summer and winter respectively. So in winter, the precipitation are in the form of snow, and in the summer season, the precipitation are in the form of rain. So the coniferous trees such as the larches, pines, spruces, firs, hemlock and maple can grow here in abundance, and this is used for the manufacturing of paper products as it is the softwood trees. The mammals in taiga forest usually have thick hairs or the thick furs on their bodies that adapt themselves to the climate, such as fox, wolf, polecat, huge large bears, lynx, musk ox, and the great horned owl. So these all are the animals of the taiga climatic condition. Now we have the another climate type, that is the temperate climate. The temperate climate can also divided into three subcategories: the steppe climate, the Mediterranean climate, and the temperate monsoon or the China type of climate. So let's learn about the steppe type of climate. So the steppe type of climate, also known as the prairie climate, and this climatic conditions is dominated by the grasslands, the vast stretches of the grassland, and there can no long trees or the tall trees can grow as the low rainfall. The area that usually covers the steppe type of climate includes area around the Caspian Sea, the southwestern part of Siberia, and the eastern Mongolia. So here you can see the steppe type of climate is around the eastern Mongolia and around the Caspian Sea and in the southwestern part of the Siberia. So this is the steppe type of climate. The region of steppe climate have low annual rainfall or the precipitation of almost 50 centimeters average annual rainfall. So the growth of tall trees is not possible here, and the land is also dominated by the grasses. Only grasses are growing here. Therefore, the region is mostly covered by the vast stretches of grassland over the central and the western Asia. These are often referred as the temperate grassland. So steppe type of climate, also known as the prairie climate and also known as the temperate grasslands. It includes a variety of animals such as the strong long-horned deers, the wild horses, donkey, giant anteater, secretary bird and the saiga. So these all are the wildlife of this steppe type of climate. Now we have the another type of climate, that is Mediterranean climate, and this climatic conditions is around the Mediterranean Sea. It mostly found along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea in the western part of the Asia, and it is located between the 30° and the 45° latitude north and south of the equator. Here you can see its location on the map around the Mediterranean Sea. The country like Turkey, Lebanon, Syria includes this type of climate. It can be characterized by hot, dry summers and the mild to wet winters, right? The summers are very hot and the winters are wet and mild. The average annual rainfall is around 100 centimeters, and the average temperature is 10 degrees Celsius to 24 degrees Celsius. It can vary. This region are popularly known as the orchards of the world because the citrus fruit that are grown here and that are cultivated here in this climate. The citrus fruit that cultivates here includes the oranges, the lemons, grapes, limes and tangerine. So these all are the citrus fruit that are grown here, and the cultivation of these trees are in abundance in this region. So the animals found here are the goats and the sheep, but also the rabbits, the jackals and lynx are also surviving here in this type of climate, the Mediterranean climate. Now we have another type of climate, that is temperate monsoon or the China type of climate. This is known as the China type of climate. Why? Because these climatic conditions covered most part of the eastern China. The temperate monsoon climate is also known as the China type of climate because it's cover major portion of the China but also covers some portion of Korea and Japan. Here you can see its location on the map. This is the China, the eastern China and some part of Japan and the Korea. The China type of climate is characterized by the mixed evergreen and deciduous forest, right? So the forest that are found here is evergreen and the deciduous forest. Trees like oak, magnolia, camellia, camphor, bamboo, mulberry, pines, etc. are commonly found here, and this is characterized by the long hot summers with high annual precipitation and also have dry winters, right? The winters are dry and the annual precipitation is high. The vegetation that are found here and the wildlife also diversified, which includes the golden snub-nosed monkey, the black woodpeckers, giant white pandas, black bears, vampire bears, and clouded leopards, and also Asiatic elephants and the tigers. So these are all the wildlife of these climatic conditions of China type of climate or the temperate monsoon climate. Now in Asia we have the another climatic condition, that is the desert climate. The area that not receive much rainfall or the precipitation, but these are the area that receive the low annual rainfall or the precipitation of almost 50 centimeters annual rainfall. And in Asia we have two types of desert. First one is the tropical desert that are hot desert, and the second one is the temperate desert that are the cold desert. So the vegetation in this type of climate are usually thorny and fleshy. To adapt themselves in this harsh and the hot and dry climate, The vegetation consists of long-rooted with small leaves, curled-up leaves, and wax-coated leaves, and the green stems. So they adapted themselves in such a manner to store and to survive in that hot and dry climatic conditions. These adaptation of the long roots and the curled up leaves and green stems help them to store the water in their body. So these are the region of the desert climate, and these includes the country like Saudi Arabia and the other Middle East country and the part of Pakistan and India. The Thar desert is also the hot dry desert region, and some part of the Iran and Afghanistan and Iraq is also characterized with the hot and dry desert region. So now let's talk about these two tropical desert and the temperate desert. The tropical desert that are hot and the temperate desert that are cold. And the example of tropical desert are such as the Thar desert in India, the Sahara desert and the Arabian desert. And the example of temperate desert is like Gobi desert and the Atacama desert. The animals that are found here in the tropical desert includes the camels and the fox and lizard, in which the camels is the most important animals of the hot dry desert climate. And the animals that are found here in the temperate desert are include the yak and other animals. So the temperate desert climate, here you can see this is a rockier region, right? Whereas the tropical desert includes the sandy areas or the sandy regions where the sand dunes can find. Here these all are the sand dunes that are present in the tropical desert. But in the temperate desert, these regions are the rockier region, right? So the vegetation here are the thorny and fleshy, and they adapted themselves to these such harsh climate to survive them. Now we have the another climatic condition, that is the mountainous climate. The South Asian part of the continent, mostly in the Himalayan region and the Himalayan mountain system, has a unique climate and vegetation. So it includes the area around the Himalayan region and the ranges of Karakoram, the Kunlun, the Altintal that we have discussed in our physical division of Asia. So these all are the climate of mountains. It has high peaks that are mostly covered in snow. The foothills of the Himalayas are quite warm, right? The foothills of the Himalayas are quite warm, and the climate and vegetation in the Himalayas changes with altitude. Altitude means the height above the sea level. As we increase the height from the sea level, the altitude will increase. So, in the higher altitude, there are the vegetation that are coniferous, and in the foothills of Himalayas, there are the deciduous forest. So, in Himalayan region is mostly covered by the tropical deciduous forest, but as we proceed higher or the elevation increases, the temperature fall and the coniferous trees become more common. So in the higher altitude, the coniferous trees are found, and in the lower or the foothills of the Himalayas, there are the deciduous forest. Now we have the tropical deciduous forest that are found in the region with warm temperature in the foothills of the Himalayas, right? So the tropical deciduous forest consists of the broad-leaf trees that shed their leaves during the dry season to conserve the water. It means that these tropical deciduous forests have the broad leaves and they shed their leaves in a one particular year, that is the dry season, to conserve the water. For example, the example of tropical deciduous forest is the bamboo, sal, shisham, kusum, sandalwood, teak and arjun. So these are the deciduous forest, the tropical deciduous forest that are found in the majorly in the foothills of the Himalayas. And as we increases the altitude, we have the coniferous trees. So this is the image of the coniferous trees. Here you can see. You can remember it that it is in the shape of the cones. So this is the shape of the cones, and this tree is the coniferous trees. The coniferous trees in the Himalayan region are located at the higher elevation with temperature where the temperature are cooler. The trees have needle-shaped leaves. In the tropical deciduous forest, we have the broad leaves, but in the coniferous trees, we have the needle-shaped leaves. The coniferous forest in the Himalayan region are dominated by evergreen trees. For example, the pine, cedar, fir and spruces, hemlock, larches and redwood. So these are the vegetation of the coniferous forest, and these are the trees of this coniferous forest. They do not shed their leaves once in a particular year, but they are evergreen forest.
Now we have the another climate type, that is the tropical monsoon climate, and India is also a country of tropical monsoon climate type. So let's explore what are the some other region of this climate. So the southeastern part of Asia also includes the Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar and southeastern China and part of Japan. So here you can see this is our India and this is Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar and Philippines and part of Japan. So these all are the country of tropical monsoon climate type. So what are the reason of this climate type? Let's understand this. The mountain ranges in central and eastern part of Asia acts as a barrier against the moisture-laden winds from the Indian and the Pacific Ocean, and this bringing rainfall in the southern part of the Asia and keeping the rest dry. This gives rise to the tropical monsoon climate. The tropical monsoon type of climate is characterized by hot summers and cool dry winters. Here in this map, this is our Indian Ocean and this is the Pacific Ocean, and the moisture-laden winds blow from south to the northward side. But here we have the central mountain ranges that acts as a barrier against these moisture-laden winds, and this is the region that these all region experiences the tropical monsoon climate type, where the summer season is hot and the winters are cool and dry. This region experiences tropical monsoon climate, usually receives precipitation in the monsoon and summer months. Here in this type of climate, the tropical monsoon climate, the rainfall is very strong from 25 centimeters to 250 centimeters. And the vegetation that are found in the tropical monsoon type of climate is the deciduous forest, which shed their leaves in the one particular time, that is the long dry winter season, and this is the reason for the conserving of water, such as the sal, the teak and sandalwood. So these all are the vegetation of this tropical monsoon climate. These trees shed their leaves in one particular time, that is the long dry winter season. And the wildlife that are found here is the elephants, the tigers, rhinoceros, Asiatic lions, monkeys and also snakes, and it's the home of the king cobra. So these all are the wildlife of this tropical monsoon climate. Now let's learn about the equatorial climate, which is the last climatic type of the Asia continent. So equatorial climate, here you can see these all are the region that experiences the equatorial type of climate in the equatorial region. So the Indonesia, the Malaysia and some part of western India, that is the Western Ghats, also experiences the equatorial type of climate, and Sri Lanka is also included in the equatorial type of climate. So equatorial type of climate is characterized by hot and humid climate. The rainfall is very high and it continues throughout the years. The equatorial climate is characterized by hot and humid throughout the year. This climate type is between 10 degrees north to 10 degrees south of the equator. So the country that experiences this equatorial climate, as we discussed earlier, is the country of Indonesia, Malaysia, and also part of India and Sri Lanka. So the summer and the winter temperatures may be 30 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius respectively. The rain along with the hot weather lead to the equatorial climate being extremely humid. So this region is very extremely humid because of the heavy rainfall throughout the year. The equatorial region experiences high rainfall and constant temperature. Here the difference in the temperature is very low. These are the region where evergreen rainforests are found which do not shed their leaves in any one particular time of the year. So they are so dense, and these tall trees of evergreen forest form a canopy of leaves or form a shelter, and there are places on earth of these forests not receive the direct rays of the sun. This is how dense and evergreen forest of equatorial region. So you can see this is the image of the equatorial region, the evergreen forest, which includes the rosewood, the ebony, mahogany, and these all are found in the equatorial region and are valuable for the making of furniture. Why? Because these are the hardwood trees, right? So these all are the vegetation of this equatorial climate that are dominated by the evergreen forests that are so dense because of the constant rainfall throughout the year. So these all are the climate of Asia we have discussed in this video. So with this we have completed all the climate type of Asia, and I hope you have understood it. So if you like the video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching.